All right, let's start this out. Black screen. I'm going to go ahead and start the game. I'm just going to check, make sure my audio and everything is good before I really begin here. I figure if we're opening our eyes, we should start with a black image, right? All right, let's get all this situated here and start. Okay, so my intention here is to show a brand new account and get everything set up, but I also want to show an issue I was having yesterday as I was kind of preparing this, because I don't use Steam very much, so I figured I'd add this to the tutorial for if you're crashing on startup, which does happen quite a bit. I'm going to play a video and talk about it in just a second here. Okay, I'm going to take out my audio that I'm hearing because I want to make sure this is balanced. I don't have any in-game sound, and that's intentional. I think I'll probably fix that now, though. Okay, let's see if we got any sound coming through. Actually, I think I have it disabled for the game, so I'll have to make the character. I'll show the little video here, and then I'll add sound afterward. Okay, so let's add this real fast. So this video that's playing right now is to kind of show when you're launching the game, the kinds of issues that I was having. And it's pretty common. Some of these you'll have even on the standalone client. So right now I'm just launching the game through Steam. And you'll just see that it goes to its white screen and then closes. And that's a pretty common script error. So to fix it, you just go to your library, right-click, properties, and then you want to make sure that you uncheck the Steam overlay. This will fix another issue later on with resolutions. And then when you launch the game, you're going to want to waiting for it to load. I don't want to jump ahead. And you go into options. And then you change, when crashing, it'll oftentimes go to Russian by default. So you want to set it to English. And then you want to set the resolution to like the smallest resolution and then start the game. And this will at least get you through the initial crashing. And then when you're in game, you can change your resolution to whatever you want it to be, and you'll be fine going forward. Whatever you set up for your settings, make sure you log back out to your character screen though. Okay, so that's done. Let's go back into this. So let's do a quick overview of the races and jobs and stuff. I'm not going to go too in depth on this. I have information on the Discord, but sometimes it helps to have a video as well. So Turan, Defender, the melee class, the physical damage, and then Templar for the magic. You obviously have your male and female choices. And you can just customize your look. You got your middle button here to zoom in, get a better look, and get rid of the little effect that's kind of making it harder to see. Pick whatever you like, rotate, basic stuff. The skills, you can get a pretty good look at what you like. The descriptions here, you can't jump through the skills, which is really a terrible idea. You should be able to click every single skill and see it to see what it does, but we don't have that, so that's a shame. That would be quite nice. There's also no way to view the DNA, so you don't really get a full readout, lookout, whatever of the jobs here, but you get a pretty good understanding. Radiant, you got a healer. Templar, you got your AoE caster. These 3 skills are ground-placed AoEs. I think I'm getting too far ahead of myself. Let's back up a bit. So let's start with Defender. Let's actually start with the real first job. So Defender has 2 directions. You can go with a Commander, which is like more of the damage portion of this job, and definitely better for PvP versus PvE, but they're okay in PvE as well. The same is true for pretty much all melee classes. Without ground-placed AoEs, nobody in the PvE realm as a physical job does that well. I just realized I'm going to make a quick stop here and make sure I open up my chat so I can see what you guys are saying, and make sure I have an overlay, because I don't think I have an overlay for anybody typing. Better add that real quick. Sorry, quick little interruption here. As if people are asking questions, I want to make sure everybody else sees it too when I'm replying. So I'll find a spot for that. Okay, multi-chat. Add existing, multi-chat horizontal. Yeah, there we go. All right, so if anybody asks anything, I'll have that pop up at the top for now. Okay, make sure my chat is open. Yes, it is. All right, back to it. All right, so as I was saying, you got the commander, which is the physical damage, and I'm talking about the fact that the AoE jobs are pretty much who you want in a PvE, player versus environment scenario. And for the most part, people who are new coming to this game, I really recommend not playing melee. And if you absolutely really must play melee, commander for the turn is probably your best choice. So I would choose that. So defender is fine. The second job they have here is protector, which is the tank. He's the one who's going to be mainly holding aggro, kind of late game, really not holding aggro very well unless you are really strong, and they're basically like a support healer. They do a ton of heals. I play a protector and I do like 11k, 10 to 11k heals with like a 10-second cooldown. You can single target. They have ticks. The heal ticks every 2 seconds. And between the 3 heals, which is restoration, restoration and sacred hand, and then the lesser party heal, this right here, like this is your bread and butter right here. It heals, I think, 10 people. It does a massive amount of heal support for everybody. So these guys can kind of substitute a Radiant for the most part at endgame, but when you're leveling, it's really painful. So Defender, that's one option. We'll look at, let's look at the other ones here. So Templar, the magic class. You got your main spam attack. There's a dot, another AoE. So they have 1, 2, 3 AoEs. Those aren't ground placed, but they're really useful. These 3 are their ground placed AoEs for the Tempest. Temperians assemble. All right. Yeah, I'll try to keep them coming. How's it going, Grotesque? And this skill, the Godly Mirror, is broken. So you definitely don't want to take that. It does not work. There's a lot of things in this game, which is why you need tutorials and information like this, because there's stuff that you're going to encounter that are like, I won't claim to know all of it because I don't play every single job, but I have been told by enough people Godly Mirror does not function at all, so don't waste your skill points in this. But this job's mainly, it's got sleep. You can put a huge group of people to sleep, really great in PvP against non-bosses, regular mobs. You got a resurrection for dead teammates if you're playing with a group. There's another job that has that too with the Mystic, but there's only 2 jobs that can resurrect dead players. Back to the Tempest skills. Yeah, these are the 3 main ones. This one has a slow attached to it, so it doesn't work against bosses. Godly Weapon. It's more of like a party support. If you're a physical damage Templar, you're not going to do very well in my opinion, so don't want to really live your life like that. But I don't play like this is more of like a PvP job or skill, so you don't really want this one. But it really depends on what your aspirations are in the game of what you want to play. Oops, what am I doing here? Stick with Templar, let's go with the other job. So the Radiant, you really don't want to take a lot of attacks. You really want your points for your heals, for party support. You have sleep. I'm going to focus mainly on describing the PvE environment because telling new players about PvP, it's just not as fun. One, the amount of people that participate in it at lower levels is almost, if not completely non-existent. People are just going to be playing in the higher level bracket, and that's still pretty sparse. I mean, we could probably coordinate people and build up interest in it, but for the main portion of your time playing this game, you probably won't encounter much PvP. The PK system, the player killing environmentally, like in the open world, is very small. So, not really a very good idea. Let's see here. Move this down a little bit so I can still see chat, but not block my own view. Whoa, fix that. There we go. Thanks, Grotesque. Appreciate it. So yeah, with the Radiant, you're going to want not very much damage. You're really going to rely on a party for damage support. I mean, you could take like 1 or 2 points in these, but I really would reskill later in life because you're not going to be much for damage. If you're PvP, you know, go for it. Just don't invest a ton in this. This skill right here is really useful, very late game, if you're a Radiant. So an MP recovery skill, the HP recovery, I better talk about this real quick. So in this game, when you're in combat and fighting, you do not recover HP. So this skill is pretty much useless. Unless you are out of combat and you press X or whatever to sit on your bottom to recharge, you don't even really need this skill. Especially as a Radiant, you're just going to heal yourself. So this would be for other people and no one needs this. So this is a skill to avoid. This one, however, is really useful, especially later in game, like for the Radiant, you have this skill, Mana Shield, which substitutes your MP for HP when you're getting damaged. So you can take that on and off. With DNA, you can make it instant cast, so you can take it on and off pretty quick, but you have that 25-second cooldown. And that'll help you a lot for taking blows, even in like a PvE setting when you're fighting bosses. So this skill is pretty useful. The concentration here, which gives you more MP. I think some people do this. I don't know. It does have a higher impact when you're considering that this also gives you, I think this does a percentage. Maybe not. I guess not. But you have MP up that you can get from Treasure Dungeon, which is complex systems I'll get into later. There are ways to get lots of MP, and with this skill, it can be percentagely increased more than that number it says there. Consider it like an HP buff. And then this recovers it. And this works in combat. Unlike the HP recovery, this will work when you're fighting. So this does have purpose in battle, which is pretty cool. I'm going to speed this up a little bit. Warrior, pretty cutthroat, obvious. You just deal tons of damage. You're bashing stuff up. Power attacks, pretty much everything in this game. When you play physical damage, you're almost always going to be using skills. That's not always the case. Some people want an auto attack, an AA build, and they'll use, like an assassin will do that. But primarily, most everybody's going to be wanting to use their skills because that's where your multiple target damage is going to come from, and that's kind of your bread and butter in this game, is hitting more people at once. So you got a power attack. You just do 1 point in that, 1 point in this. Some people will take this to 10 because it is an AoE, but it depends on your job of what you're going to be. 1 point in this is pretty good because you got a pretty massive bump right away. Like, you can run around in the starting area just one-hitting everybody pretty quick, like probably by like level 4 or 5, and I'll show you some of those tricks too in a moment. A charge, you can dash in, smash stuff. This game has this weird effect where you can see there's a success rate associated with this, 60%. So pretty early on, you're going to notice, one, you don't go very far. And 2, you keep kind of coming back to where you started. And that's because you fail oftentimes in the early stages of this. So you think you're going to make contact with somebody, and it shows that, but then you teleport back and you don't do any damage because you missed. And that's kind of like a weird system with the charging in this game because there's a damage associated with it. So if you fail that attack, you teleport back to where you were. There's lots of other weird effects that go on with charging. Sometimes you'll teleport around, running in a big circle. It's it just like increases your speed at the same rate you were dashing, but then it just creates this weird movement bug. So it's pretty rare, but it does happen. You might notice some weird stuff with this. This skill is pretty useful. It reduces a percentage of the defense of your target, which is pretty useful at higher levels, but you're going to notice less from that, obviously, on lower defense mobs. Some people use this one. It's pretty good in conjunction with some other skills. Terror is like a fear skill that make people run away. These skills are pretty useless, to be honest. They're great when you're leveling up, but using them long term is really ill-advised. Like, by late game, this is insignificant. HP percentage, not as impactful early on, but massive late game for sure. People usually take that one to 10, I'd say. So Berserker is one of the other, this is the second job. You have a charge skill here. I think this one's also AoE, if I remember correctly. This one's not the charge, right? Maybe it is. I guess it is. I don't play this job very often, as you can tell. But this is not the charge, right? Deals damage and heals, so this is more of a contact one. So that one's not the charge. Where's my dash that I'm thinking of? Burning dash. Did they change the icon on this? They probably didn't, and I just am not familiar. So yeah, this one's like a heal, kind of. I'm not sure, honestly, what governs this. I want to say it's intelligence, which as a melee barbarian, you're going to be not really a smart person. So I don't know. I really can't speak to this very well. I think people use it, but I don't know if it is impactful enough to be like a good heal. I don't think it is. Another HP buff, but it has a consequence. You lose short range defense, so it's a trade-off. Hyper mode, this one's super hardcore. You do a little bit of a heal over time, but it's such a long delay that it's not going to really do very much for you. But I think, again, this one's, I don't know how it's governed. If it's healed, if your heal is governed by your damage from intelligence, or if it's something else like strength, which I don't think it is. All skills are related to intelligence, so I feel like, again, this one probably doesn't get as much benefit as it would, unless maybe you're like an int build, which I guess is possible because you want skill critical additional damage when you're building out like this. You got stuns, gets up to 3 seconds, really powerful. This is super strong PvE, early game single target. Instant cast. I mean, a lot of these skills are really good, but I don't really play these enough to know the builds on them. This one gives you, I think, some resistance in combat to like stuns and stuff, mainly PvP. I would call this a PvP skill, personally. Rage is a percentage damage thing, which is super good. This one here, the reckless attack, is mainly intended for like increasing your auto attack at the cost of your defense. So There's a big trade-off on this, which is really weird because a lot of jobs will just have a way to increase their attack speed. The fact this comes with a consequence is kind of unfair for the Berserker, in my opinion. But they have a couple of the AoE skills, but they're intended mainly as a single target attack. Shackle to slow down your target. Counterattack. You can see how a lot of these skills, this one's countering magic. You can see how this job is intended for PvP. Like all these things are mainly associated with PvP. But for PvE, this one's the bread and butter for melee, I'd say, the Warlord. You got an AoE that gets up, I think, to 9 targets. This one's also pretty high for a multi-target. This one's cool because you don't have to target anybody, it just does it around you. And it's a pretty small cooldown, so you can spam that one a lot. This one I don't think people take very high on average. I think there's other skills you want, but this one's good to at least put 1 point in because you definitely want Land Tremor, so you can AoE smash the ground and stun people, which is really useful. The Feast of Blood, I'm pretty sure, is one of their good AoEs, and then definitely Blood Carnival is a really good one. Another AoE. So you can see this job has a lot of AoEs. AoE, 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 AoE. So it's like some of them come with a lot of PvE potential. And as far as PvE goes, the Warlord definitely stands there in a good category for physical damage. Terrifying Scream. This holds down the enemies in place so you can beat them. The Bugle of Carnage is something you want to increase your damage. This is more of like a mid-early game kind of thing. Like late game, I don't know if people really utilize this very much. I'm sure 1 point obviously because you need it for branching out. Shout of the Ferocious Tiger is really cool. It's a percentage debuff for defense. I was talking to another player who's telling me this skill actually works really well in PvE as well because it makes you immune to stuns temporarily when it's active. So it's actually got like a hidden bonus it doesn't tell you about here. So that one's actually super cool. And then the Bear-like Stamina is obviously really good because you're getting HP with no consequence, and it's party, so helpful for everybody. Overbearing Clamor. This one, again, it's mainly meant for PvP. It is really good though, because it just gives a momentary shutdown of all casters. You lock them down in place, you shut them down, and you just start casting AoEs all over them and let your party kill everybody. Pretty cool. The Shamans, this is like the ultimate, maybe not Shamans per se. I play a Forsaker, which is in Shaman class, but they're not, the Forsaker's not the best, but we'll get into this. So, Shaman, I play a lot. I played Mystic for a long time, but I also play Forsaker now. And you really can't go wrong with this job. You got tons of heals when you get into your second job, but you got your Fireball, Instant Cast, you got AoE. Both of these are AoE, by the way. This is even AoE, but this is an instant cast around you, AoE as well. So it's just, here's your heal. You got your ability to increase your HP at no well, there's a consequence kind of. Evasion rate comes down, but I mean, if nothing's hitting you, it's no real consequence. And you can offset that pretty easily. The evasion consequence is not a big deal. Fire Protection Fairy gives you skill crit chance, which is actually massive. It says like 0.01%, which it's not. It gets, it's more like 0.1%. Or is it 1? It's 1%. Sorry, it's 1% is what that really equates out to. And it does say like %1, and then it has the little 0.01. If it was like 1, a whole 1 would be 100%. So you can see it's like a really weird, confusing formulation. But it's 1% from this, so it's massive. And you get a level 10, you get 10% skill crit just from this. Very good when you're leveling. These skills right here, absolute trash. Don't take these. They amount to nothing, so avoid that. Forsaker, this is what I play. This is mainly like a support role. Good PvE. I would say actually fair PvE, good PvP. They're pretty fun, and they're great support. So they have a skill rate. Well, fire totems are ground placed AoE, so they do have a good function in ground placed AoE. and it gets up to the point of being continuous just about. It's like a half second off from continuous. Then you have Chaos Totem. This one's Chaos Totem is intended for actually PvE and PvP. It's really good to get hostiles off you. They'll just make everybody run away, and it's pretty much continuous. 30-second cooldown. At level 10, it lasts for 28 seconds, so you can pretty much rely on that. Plague Charm is a really useful skill for raid bosses because you reduce, well, and PvP, because melee targets, you can drop their physical damage by 30% from this skill alone. 10% more with DNA, so 40% physical damage reduction is massive. Blazing Wind is a fire resistance debuff, which is incredibly helpful to Mystics, which is a really common class, so Forsakers are really good support to them. This skill is broken. You definitely don't want this. It has no functionality. I shouldn't say no. It's like there's some decimal error somewhere, and this thing does like 3 magic damage at endgame. It's terrible, so never take this. Loa's Curse. It's a slow, intended more for PvP. This is a PvE skill. It does not work in PvP. You cannot hit players with this. You can only hit NPCs or player summons, but it's not a good idea to use this in PvP. It's really not useful in PvE either. You have a Chaos Totem, just use that. This thing you have to get in their face and smack them with it, and it doesn't last as long. And forever cooldown, it's 10 seconds longer than this. It's just, I don't know what the heck they're thinking when they put this skill in. This is a good one to put 1 point in. 35 magic damage for nothing. Flame Wave, it's a stun they have. It only ever gets 1 second, so it really is useless in my opinion with a 1.5 second cast time. I only put 1 point in it, and I don't really use it. Oh, I didn't think about this. Spent enough time here, I crash out. I'll have to think about that next time, huh? Yeah, you have, I think, like, however long the stream's been going, you could calculate it, but I think it's like 10, 15 minutes or something before this thing logs you out. And I'll just finish this real quick. Supernova. This is really useful. This one will be another instant cast compared to this, so you can use these in conjunction to do the same thing. Instant cast damage. This one's intended for PvP. It does not work in PvE. It is a MP reduction, which is pretty good against Radiance, but it is situational. It does really high damage, but I use it more for targeting Radiance when they're in the battlefield. And it does pretty good. You can reduce, like, I think 90% when you get it all the way up. 90% of their overall MP of every target hit, so it's mainly damaging to Radiance using the MP mana shield. Mystic. Now this is the main one right here that I recommend people. If you're just starting out, this is a great choice because you're going to have great heals, great damage. People always want you for raids because you're good damage and you're good heal support. Their Burning Meteor is like the Flame Wave of the Forsaker, but it's better. They get a 3-second stun, so it's great in PvP, but I wouldn't really take it. There's other skills that are useful. Fire Mandala is massive. This thing shoots out this ring of balls of explosive power that does such crazy damage. Like, this thing is like, I mean, it's instant cast too. The fact that this thing is instant cast is insane. This thing, you're gonna fire it off every time you have a chance to. Fire Rain and Hellfire are your ground-placed AoEs, and they're pretty much continuous. Well, they're not pretty much. They are continuous, so they'll do tons of damage for you, and this is why Mystics are really great DPS holders. Heal Totem. This thing removes any kind of negative effect that you have, like a damage over time. It doesn't remove slows or anything, but it does remove damage over time. It like heals that, makes it go away. So this is super important in raids. Plus it heals very fast. It refreshes more often than it says right there with 2 seconds. It'll heal you a ton. There's Mystics out there with like 1,000 HP per tick, and that thing will give you thousands of HP during its duration because it lasts for so long. I think it's like, when you have DNA and stuff in it, I think it's only offline for 17 seconds. So that would be 38 seconds runtime. I mean, I could be off on that a little bit. 37 seconds runtime, something like that. 33. Can't do math. Anyway. Um, let's see, protection totem is a 1-pointer. This skill right here, total trash. Don't take it. It mainly just because this doesn't do anything. I don't even know if it actually functions or if it's just very ineffective. Either way, I've never heard good things about it, so don't take it. And again, this is like a 1-pointer. Don't put too much into it. It's just nice to have 300 defense early on. If you don't plan to spend money, don't take much more, if at any, 1 point in protection totem. If you're gonna reskill and don't care about spending a couple bucks or waiting 50 days to reskill, then by all means go for it. It's a useful skill in the mid to early game. Summoning Heal Fairy. This one says it's 1 second cast time, but with DNA you can make an instant cast. So this one's super helpful for a party heal with a tick. So you got this heal, you got Healing Totem, you got your heal here with First Aid, you have Wound Care, which is a tick heal. So 1, 2, 3, 4 heals is massive. Granted, these ones you only ever really use 1 point in, but they're still enough to do a lot when everything's factoring in your magic and stuff. Bloodlust is a super useful skill. That's going to increase your fire damage, and the melee, the physical damage jobs, like long range damage is also increased from this, so it helps rangers and rogues and stuff who are using crossbows. So Bloodlust is really helpful to your party and yourself. Some people don't use it at the end game, but it's up to you, really. This right here is the other resurrection option, because like I said before, there's only one other job, which is the Templar that has a resurrection, and then the Mystic itself. My understanding with this skill here, this is a PvP skill only, and I think it doesn't actually work. It says it's supposed to reduce MP when it actually is supposed to be HP, I think. I don't know. This one, I can't speak to directly. I don't know. I think it might still heal the party. It's supposed to like kind of be like a magic steel, convert to MP and convert to HP and then heal your teammates, but it doesn't do that. So maybe it does one aspect of it. I just know people don't take it and they always tell me it's broken. So there's that. I don't think I can click any of these, but we'll see. Oh, sweet. I can still continue on. I have to leave this here. If I click it, it just closes my game. So let's go with, I already did that. Let's go with the Kruxena. Where am I at for time? Man, I've already been doing this for far too long. Okay, we have, for the rogue, a lot of rogues, they'll take the skills, but they're really not very useful. Some of them are, obviously, but like, you're working your way to home thrust. The function of a rogue is to stun and disable your opponent so they can't move. So stunning them, you have a couple other options here. So you have rogue goes 2 directions. The rogue can become a shadow runner or an assassin. Both will use a crossbow or can use a crossbow. Predominantly the shadow runner. You got a little crossbow icon in the name. You obviously have a lot more skills intended for crossbow use. But mainly the way you're playing this job is you're gonna be trying to stun everybody, probably auto attack if you're an assassin. Early game, you're probably gonna rely on your skills because your auto attack's not gonna be as fast. This is gonna increase your auto attack. I think this is like a level 10 skill. I don't really remember when you get this. It doesn't say in here, so it's kind of frustrating, but I'm trying to think as I'm looking at my time if I really want to go over this with how many jobs there are. And I know people have been over this before. I'm going to speed this up a little bit more. So Assassin, I highly recommend not playing this as your first job. The reason for that is they have no heals. You can stun a single target with the rogue. You have the ability to go stealth. You have your dashes and your retreat to get away and to move quickly. You have Soccer Kick, which is intended more for PvP, kicking off the buffs of your opponent, and that's pretty much what this guy is for, PvP. He's situational. He's there to kind of put stick in your spokes of the people riding by, you know, and it's making it so they disable like a healer or steal the weapon of somebody who's really high damage. It's just like they're just more of an elf. They're annoying, but they can definitely kill you. Don't get me wrong. Like it's PvP though is where they're best. That's where they shine. Shadowrunner. So they have. Oh man, these guys are definitely very hardcore in PvP because they have this skill right here alone, which shuts down all magic casters, which is what people like playing. So this is a great tool to shut down your opponent. Trap of Silence. It's an AoE instant cast. I think it's instant cast with DNA. I could be wrong there. But yeah, this thing lasts like, I think it's 22 seconds when the effect is on, I believe. And it sits on the ground for maybe 10, 12 seconds. So this thing lasts a long time. This skill right here, Sniping Chaos, will prevent some skills from even being cast because it takes so long to like have an error code. I don't know if that's intentional or not, but it definitely is breaking to some of this like 1 second cast time skills in the game. So this one's super useful. Again, PvP, that's pretty much what this guy's intended for. I mean, cast time's kind of irrelevant to an NPC, a mob that you're fighting. But they're good DPS support, so if you're playing with a party, they're good DPS for sure. Assassin. These guys are... I haven't even seen a lot of their new skills. That's the Stinging Precision, huh? So hit them and dash away. Interesting. Must be a new skill. I don't even think they showcased that one. I didn't even know they had it. This shows like how much I play Assassin. It's been a long time. This is an AoE skill they have. This is an AoE skill they have. This one, single target if I remember, it's more of a bleeder. So I mean, like these guys, again, they're singling out their prey and they're hunting them, and then they're mostly getting away when they get in a bad sticky situation. They have a slow, so they can bind somebody to the ground, steal their weapon so the person's not doing very much damage, which is actually super hardcore considering how much casters rely on the Xenoa wand later in game. So this one's actually pretty massive help. The Deadly Cry is really helpful to your party. So this one increases critical additional damage, skill and physical critical additional damage. That one's really good. Let's move on. Xenoa, you got the Hunter. And, oh, I'm sorry, I jumped way ahead. So the Kruxena has the SoulHunter as well. This is actually what I'm going to play eventually. Apparently I'm taking an eternity to do this. The SoulHunter is really cool. You have the single target. It's a dot right away. You got an AoE skill. You got a stun. These guys are a good mix of PvE and PvP. So you could think of them kind of like the Shaman, but the Kruxena are more of like isolationists. They're not really team players, I guess is probably a good way to put it. They don't really have much to support others. They're more intended to be kind of like isolationists. That's how I put it. All their stuff pretty much benefits them. This skill right here, the Blessing of Wind, is actually super cool, and you can put it on friendly targets or targets that aren't in party, just a single target person, and it'll increase movement speed so you can go really fast. It stacks with a mount, so you can go fast, like go faster and even faster with a mount as well. Let's see here. So Vampiric Touch, this is your heal right here. It's stealing the HP of the other enemy and then giving it to yourself. It's damage based, so intelligence is what governs this. Most heals are governed by the stat Mind. Stealing mana, this one, I don't know. I'm not sure if I like this or not. I may use it, but mana is going to be a non-issue. So it'll be more of like a DPS thing. And with a 45-second cooldown, I don't know. I may or may not take this. I'll find out, test it. Invisibility, this one, you know, it has evasion up. This one's got some potential to it. This is definitely be very good when you're leveling in the early game. I could see this being useful in the late game when you have all your defense really high, because this also has a 12 short range defense, but it also has a percentage increase of defense, so it's pretty legit right there. Which would obviously be more impactful late game when you have a higher defense. This right here lets you go into kind of like stealth. That's kind of what Kruxenas are good at, is being hidden. But it doesn't hide you from players. This just hides you from mobs, NPCs. This is a fear skill. And it also makes them run around like chaos, and I think, does it give them a dot? Yeah, damage property over time. So it's hurting them too. I don't know. I have to use this one. Definitely useful in PvP, but PvE situations what I'm looking at. I don't know. This one, again, more of a PvP skill. This one can probably be used in PvE as well, but it's a single target. This one binds a target to the ground so they can't move, but they can still attack if they have a ranged attack, or you get close enough they can hit you. They just can't walk. This one right here, Lithifying Terror, puts them in like a rock essentially. They can't move, you can't hit them, they can't hit you, it's like a timeout. The Illusion is a summon that essentially will take aggro for a moment. Hey Korean, how's it going? The Illusion is kind of like someone will come over and hit you, and instead of hitting you, they'll hit the Illusion and kill it, but it dies pretty much instantly, so they'll instantly go right back to you. So this is kind of a useless skill. I would only take it as a one-pointer if you wanted to have these summons and use them mainly as a dominator. I would not recommend them if you're going to be a PvE player. PvP definitely. PvE, if you're going to be a defiler later, these are pretty much useless. You're going to be doing way more damage than these things are ever going to do. Kazara does have a slow though, which could be useful, maybe in like mid-game or something, but it's a single target slow. So these are pets, like I said, Kazara. This is like a mob that you'll encounter in the game, but you can have as a summon. The Lenator is like a spear chucker. He's kind of useful, more annoying than anything else. Again, these things are, the way pets work is they don't scale with your damage. They are what they are, and they're not very much. You kind of take them as 1 points if you're going to be a dominator, and you want to get the other options here. Because I think you need to have 1 point in these in order to be able to get these ones too. I could be wrong there, but you definitively have to have 1 point in this in order to open up any of these. But I'll get more into the Dominator here in a moment. Defiler, you got some AoE skills here. This one's hit crit rate. I didn't know that. This one increases your skill crit. Wow, that's pretty epic. I'll have to look into that. Skill hit rate. I assume that's, maybe that's an actual, I don't know. I'm not sure about this. Again, I don't play this job as much, so that's kind of why I wanted to play it, was to learn it too. So I'll do some investigating on this one. Blood Moon. Swing a staff, so it hits multiple dudes in front of you, but they have to be close. This one's like a straight arrow, whoever's in front of you. This one's situational. I'd say this is probably more impactful than this. But this one just is like an AoE spear that gets fired out as a skill, and it hits everybody that's in a straight line in front of you. Arrow of Ruin. They'll explode upon hitting the target. I think this one's pretty good. I have to look again on that. I think that one's useful. Main thing is when you get level 60, you get your Deadly Fog and Bloodstorm. These are your ground-placed AoEs. These are really, really legit. Curse Effect, I don't know. I think this is like an instant cast around you. Instant cast, yeah. So it's like the Soul Explosion I was talking about before. Curse the target's nearby enemy temporarily reduce their HP and MP recovery. So that seems kind of insignificant. But is there damage associated with it or no? HP recovery. I don't know. I'm not really sure about this. I'll have to look into that. Deadly Bomb. I don't know if people really use this very much. It's more of like adding a tick on somebody. I'm sure 1 point for sure, but I don't know if people really utilize it very much. Trap of Stiffness. This one's really useful. So you cast this. It's essentially like a stun. It says stuns there. So it holds a target in place and it refreshes every 2 seconds. And it'll hold you down for a long period of time. And when you do that, you drop Deadly Fog and you drop Bloodstorm on it, and those dudes are locked down just waiting to get slaughtered. They can't do anything unless they're a boss and they're not able to get affected by stuns. Fury, hey, that's me. Confuse the target. I think this one's just like a fear, but I don't. Is there a dot associated with it? I think this one's useful. I mean, it's AoE, so I would think this is probably far more impactful. I would say this is useful. I'd say this would be good for like PvE as well. So yeah, you could do that while maybe you're trying to get yourself started on putting down a trap of stiffness, maybe. Deadly disease. Not sure. I think this one's good. See, again, this is what I mean. Max HP, so this is damaging them. So it reduces their max MP. I mean, it seems good in theory. The Fata Morgana. I don't know if charm a monster to remove its hostility on you. That seems really useless. I mean, you're never going to want to remove anyone's hostility. You're going to want to just beat the shit out of everything. So I'd say that's useless. Dominator. You got your pets. This thing heals. So you got the little heal sign. So it has a skill that'll heal you, but it's a really small heal. Don't expect much from it. The Nastek. This guy, you know, I'm trying to remember what his skills are. I don't think he has a slow. He shoots a dot. He doesn't do any heals. Not really too certain. Kazara has a slow, super useful. This guy throws spears, very annoying. Humbaba has an AoE stun, super useful. The Reaper, I hear that there's a certain skill point that if you put it in like past 4 or 5 or something like that, it becomes less damage and sucks. So this one's like a gray area, not 100% on this. Strengthened monster, not impactful enough to matter, so that's crap. The heal is crap, just summon the pet again. Don't heal the pets, it's a waste of your skill points. Ataxic Pulse. This one's super good because this is curse damage, strength. So it's the same kind of concept as this. This is like intended for dropping physical damage. So this will reduce the attack power of physical damage melee. Melee, but PvE and PvP. This works against NPCs and players. Same with this, the Haunting Pulse. This one's hardcore because it's tons of int, which is devastating in PvP for sure. More impactful, I'd say, in PvP than PvE, because most things are going to deal physical damage, so strength would be more impactful in that setting. PvP, Haunting Pulse, definitely impacting players a lot. Relapse Wound. Relapse Wound. This one reduces defense by pretty good. I think it's like 32% at endgame, super good. So good PvE as well. The Broken Morale is, I don't know if this works in PvE to be honest, but it's absolutely game breaking in PvP because at max it's like 90% skill crit and physical crit down. So this thing, for a whole minute, everybody's just running. 55-second duration, it lasts a minute, so hardcore. The Dominator is really intense, that's for sure, at endgame, but they don't have much for DPS in a PvE setting, so I usually recommend Defiler over Dominator unless you want to just be annoying, and you definitely deal high damage for sure in PvP. Alright, now let's go to Xenoa. Jesus, okay, almost an hour into this. Sorry guys. I'll be sure to timestamp this to skip through. I think there's a lot of this rambling that I'm doing here is not as productive as I wanted it to be. Should have scripted this. If I would have scripted it like I do if I'm writing guides, it'd be a lot more uniform, organized, and that's kind of why I thought about not doing this, because then I ramble, and that's where we're at. Hunter. The Hunter is... How do I put the Hunter? Hunter's a fun job, but it's got a lot of downsides. It's not the greatest DPS. It's not the greatest in PvP or PvE. It's a fun job, so I mean, I don't like shame them. They have a purpose. Everybody has a purpose. But there's definitely better things to play. When you're a first-time player, I really recommend not doing rogues and hunters. Like the main one to stay away from, honestly. Just because they're slow. It's just your single target DPS is just going to make it, you're watching a movie and not playing it, is how I see it, The quick firing, a lot of these skills are not going to be very used. There are some useful ones. For example, multi-firing is your AoE. That is useful. Again, for certain jobs, I would say for Avenger, if you use skills, but if you're a Ranger, you're probably not going to be using skills. You're going to be going with AA, like a Rogue, like an Assassin. A lot of these are kind of useless. In early game PvE, I would say some of these are really good, like damage, long range defense, movement speed, slowing down your target. Pretty useful in PvP, that's for sure. Smoking shell, this just makes people miss more, I think. There's definitely useful ones. I'm trying to remember which ones they were. I think this one was useful. Decrease target's accuracy, not really. Launcher, piercing strikes. I mean, I guess it was probably this one. Decrease the attack range of targets. I mean, it's just not that useful. I could have sworn this thing had another purpose. That's why I was looking so intently at this. I thought this one was pretty good. I mean, since you're decreasing the accuracy, this one is pretty useful in, I would say, early game to like mid game with making people miss when they attack you more, like in mobs. So in a PvE setting, this one does have some use, and this one's slowing them down. I'd say these two are fair. But the main thing, this skill sucks. Avoid that. You're going to have plenty of accuracy, just equipping stuff and wearing regular gear. So this is crap. Sniper's coolness, this is going to increase your attack speed, and this is going to help you. So this is like a mandatory thing when you're using a launcher, which is going to be, some skills require a launcher, so this is a mandatory skill in my opinion. Hunter Strike, I think this one's a stun. Deal of damage with knuckles. Oh, I don't even think that's a stun. That was just, there's the option to play with knuckles on these guys, and I just highly discourage it. It's not very good. It's an old build that people used to do back before they kind of broke knuckles and how they operate, and especially the late game knuckles. The stats on them aren't really adequate to fulfill it. There's other gear that makes that build style trash because you can just have con HP. So the reason people liked knuckles was for the HP it gave, but you can get HP from jewelry and other stuff. It really just defeats the purpose of that build style. Weapon upgrade, this one's really good for increasing your physical attack. With DNA, this thing can get to 20% physical crit chance increase. It's massive, so highly recommend that skill and the DNA that goes with it. Again, knuckles, avoid that, it's garbage. Escaping, so you use your launcher and you can fire backward and escape attackers like a rogue can. It's just a dash in reverse. Turns you into a shrimp. Or a crawfish. Monster summon or capturing. This one's, you need this if you're going to be an Avenger. I would not recommend it as a Ranger. Exploding trap. This is a gray area for me because traps were fun, but I feel like without 55 DNA, you just can't build it the right way. I know some people do it. This is another reason why I say using traps as an Avenger is just not as fun as it used to be. So another reason to discourage Hunter. It's just not up to its full potential. So first of the second jobs is the Avenger. Avenging Strike. This is a Russian decreased defense with knuckles. So it's a knuckle skill. It's just not very good. It's just that most of these skills can be said that way. Another knuckle skill. This one just deals damage. Crap. Double strike, I think this one does essentially double your damage, so this one, the same kind of skill exists for another class that I'll get into in a moment. I just don't think it's very good. You can't really build correctly for it. Defense up, I don't know why it says ally, doesn't. It's just passive for yourself. Detecting trap, PvP stuff. It's not really useful in PvE. Eliminating trap, this is useful in PvE because you can remove some raid bosses, traps they put on the ground, like totems and stuff. So this is actually useful. Paralyzing trap, this is their AoE stun. super powerful. I think this thing's like 8 or 10 seconds. It's a really long stun when you put DNA in it and build it up. So this is really useful, but it takes a ton of DNA to be useful. Bomb trap. I wonder if that's a bug where it says 0 damage, because this is holy damage of how it's how the damage is distributed. It uses an element of light damage, which they call holy damage, and that's kind of confusing why it says 0. I know they actually deal damage, so I don't know what the hell that's about. But yeah, this is another AoE trap that deals damage. Guided trap. Explosion trap. This one's obviously weak and small radius. This one's really cool. So as far as bombs go, this one and this one are like your bread and butter for bomb DPS. Healing monster. This is crap. Just let that thing die. Summon a middle level creature. So unless you, I mean, this is self-explanatory. You just have to work your way up, progressing from this to this, and then eventually you can have revive. Whatever your last monster was you captured, you can bring it back from the dead every 2 minutes for 5 minutes. I think it might last longer. I think the cooldown decreases as you level it up. Moving on to Ranger. Most of these skills are useless, so I'm not even going to really touch on them, to be honest. You're not going to be using skills as a Ranger. You're just going to do auto attack. You got like the increase your overall DPS with the mastery repairing launcher. This one's just going to make you do more damage too when it's active. Stealth detection is good for finding assassins and stuff in PvP. Uppercut, here's a stun when they're close up on you. You can smack them and dash away. Pretty sure it stuns, right? Yeah, stun. There we go. I think it's 3 seconds. Range extension. It does what it does. It does what it says. It extends your range. I think you can get up to like 50 meters or something. It's pretty massive, the range you can have. But then I mean, you already can't move and shoot at the same time. But then when you try to move, you have to take the skill off in order to move, like at all. You just pretty much are stuck in place. So you can get used to that. It's annoying, but it's functional. So in PvP, that's pretty much where this plays the most. Obviously, PvP I'd say is useful too. You can hit your target from further away for longer. Just, you know, might not kill it. Maybe you will, depending on your damage. Poison bomb firing, it's a pro and a con. It decreases your defense, but it increases your damage. So, and you can shoot it onto other people too. So sometimes you can use it to your advantage. You can attach it to I don't know if you can attach it to an enemy in a battlefield, but you can definitely put it on teammates. You can put it on people when you're not fighting them. So, I don't know. I don't think you can debuff somebody with this, and it's intended to be more of a buff, but it has a negative consequence. Let's see here. Chemical bomb firing. I'm trying to remember if this one was good. Lower their evasion rate. I'm not sure. Maybe. It has a purpose. If it's high enough. I wish it was percentage, but not sure if that really matters, to be honest. This one is a stun, right? Firing shocking bolts. Get stunned for a chance. Yeah, this one's super good. This one's another increase in your distance shooting. Okay. So this was the stun, yeah. So yeah, this one is... I was initially thinking that skill was the stun symbol. I forgot. So the shock firing, this one is the stun. These are PvP stuff. I don't think they even work in PvE. But it reduces 50% HP. I think it gets higher than that. But it's essentially you shoot them. It deals really high damage. Great for like shooting tanks and stuff who have like 100,000 HP or something. Bullseye, long range damage. I guess this is a fixed target, deal a massive amount of damage. Cast time 3 seconds. I mean, when something takes this long to use and it has such a long cooldown, it's like, what are you even giving me this for? It just looks and sounds like crap, so do that as you may. Battle Magician. This one's really fun, but it's probably one of the hardest jobs to play as far as casters are concerned. There's tons of skills. Like, look at these things. Insane amount of skills. So you really have to diversify and plan your route. This one's your first skill you get, and it's got a short cooldown, instant cast. This is your main spam attack. This is your main spam attack AoE, and it's got a dot on it. It gets like 5 seconds with DNA, so this one you can really cast out a lot. It's really good. Good single target DPS, but I would probably just do 1 point. Flame Curse, this is like a up close, smack somebody and stun them for up to 3 seconds when you get more points in it. I think 5 points it turns to 3 seconds. Rage of Bugs is it's your ground placed AoE. It's like your bread and butter as well. You're going to use this a ton. It can be, I think it gets continuous or gets very close to it. Here's a tick heal. It affects your party members as well. This is a damage-based heal, which is massive. You need, I think, this is one where you have to use DNA to make it really good. And I have a guide on this. I forget off the top of my head, but the problem with a lot of battle magician skills is not very explained. Like in the skill description itself, trying to figure this out is a pain in the butt. But I would recommend you max this one to 10 points. And I think you need either 6 or 7 DNA in order to make it 100% of the time heal you. So definitely recommend it because you want that thing to heal you every time. It's a huge heal since it's damage based. You can do like, I don't know, it's more than most people can. It's significant, but it's single target. So it doesn't deal as much damage as it heals you. It's pretty weird. This is a buff to increase magic damage, which I'd consider pretty crappy. You could probably use it early game leveling, but I wouldn't recommend it later on. Knuckle Mastery again, this is all physical damage stuff. It's just useless in my opinion. An instant heal, which can be targeted on others, not just yourself, so that's super good. Same with this one. This is a wave heal, so it's 2 parts. If you cast it on someone else, 1 wave of the heal goes to the target, and then 1 other wave goes to yourself, always. So you can't heal this one all to 1 other person. It just goes to yourself and a target. Promise of Trust. This one is a defense buff that you can put on friendlies, which is super cool. And it does quite a bit. Look at like just 1 point. I think it doubles on 2. Like it doesn't take much to be useful, I think. A dash is always good. This one's super good. Being mobile is always great. I don't recommend this. The Fairy's Protection is just really small defense, really useless. Even this, I don't recommend either. Wave of Purification is intended to remove like negative status effects, like someone puts a dot, a damage over time on you. That's what that's for. So when I actually know a skill, like a class, I can go through it a little faster. You can kind of tell where I'm like, I don't know this. I should just skip over it, but I'll put some, I'll put timestamps and things so people can kind of jump through my rambling more. I spent a lot of time going over this class recently, which is kind of why I'm a little more knowledgeable somewhat on it. Villavi is, so let's see, let's do, so the Druid. There's Druid and there's Elementalist. Both jobs are good. Druid, I would say, is better at PvP, but I mean, this job's actually really fun all around. It's dual purpose for sure. Less party friendly versus the Elementalist. The Elementalist is definitely more group friendly, party friendly. It has good debuffs and stuff and party support. Druid is kind of more helping himself and good DPS, good solo. But the Druid is kind of complicated. Battle Magicians are kind of complicated in the sense of you always have to kite. I didn't mention this before, but the range, if you look at this, it says 4 meters to 30 meters. That means if you're standing up touching somebody, you can't cast it. That's like your main spam attack too. 1 second cooldown, instant cast, so that's your spam. This one you can do close, but that's most of them. 4 meters. 4 meters. Most of the skills you gotta be a little bit away. So you have to run. You spend a lot of time avoiding your enemies. I mean, they're frail. That's what the premise of the race is. They're like, you know, frail little creatures that are going to get hurt, so you got to run away. But they have these transformations with the Druid. Villavi lets you move super fast. It's like a mount that you can have instantly anywhere. You don't get restricted on it. You can use it everywhere. You have a buff to dash. I should say it's not a buff. You have a dash. You have a teleport. You have a heal over time. I think this is party as well. Swift legs is like a constant buff while you're transformed to move quickly. You can move like at the max speed of 10 meters per second when you're all buffed up if you really want to. Reverse telekinesis, I don't know about how good this thing gets later on. The description on this is really poor. The way this thing works is you attack with the skill and it deals damage, and then there's a chance that the skill will proc on you, and then it'll give it its effect, and it'll stay like a buff, which this class has a lot of skills like that. But it will reflect a percentage of the damage. I think at like max, it's like maybe 20% magic. Is it 20% or with DNA? I think it can get to like 20% of the magic damage dealt to you can be reflected back at the target. So I'd say this has a lot of potential, but there's other options you might want, and I haven't really done a skill build to calculate out if you can make this really viable in most builds. But this one has some pretty cool functionality. So the magic damage reflect does work, unlike that skill I talked about a long time ago with the Templar, or the Tempest, the Godly Mirror, where that one doesn't work. This one does. And the Berserker does have magic damage reflection too, and that one does work. It's just Godly Mirror doesn't work. So yeah, this is just a chance. There's a chance that you'll proc the skill on use, and there's a chance that when you have it activated, which I think is like 30% or 20%. It's something like each time you get hit, there's a chance that you'll reflect damage back, so it's not 100% guaranteed. Gravity up. This one increases cast time. This one increases the cast time of your opponents, so that's more PvP, obviously. Cast time for an NPC is irrelevant. So Doomguard, this is like your big tanky option. This is your mobility, this is your tank, this is your DPS kind of thing, is how you could look at it. Doomguard, each one of these two, they get to like, this one goes to 5 points, 10 points, 10 points. At 5 points, you get a 5-second cooldown. There's perks that you can see that increase with each one, like more damage, more health, whatever, depending on who you are. Faster movement speed. Thrown Vine is actually super legit, slows down your targets. These skills can also only, I didn't clarify this, can only be used when you're in these transformations. There are some flip sides to this, which I'll get into in a minute. This skill can be used while in this form, and then when you leave it, it stays on. Same with Doomguard, you can use this skill, and when you leave Doomguard, the skill stays on, which this is defense buff, by the way. When you're in Inferno and you use this Cry of Will, which increases your skill crit rate, and you come out of Doomguard or of Inferno, that skill comes off. So this thing's dog shit. You can cast it on other people, and theirs will stay on, but when you come out of your Inferno, it comes off. It's not supposed to be that way. It never used to work that way, but at some point it broke, and that's never been fixed. So this skill is kind of something I tell people to avoid. So back to Doomguard. You have a taunt. This is just hostility thing, so it's just a shout like a tank has. It really isn't very useful, so highly discourage it. It's good if you want to just pull aggro from mobs or something, but I mean, so maybe there's situations you'll want it in a PvE setting. Gigantizing, this one increases your HP while in Doomguard. It does not linger when you come out. We've already been over this one. Robbing Willingness increases your defense. This one's actually pretty useful, by the way. But there's a chance when you're casting that it won't hit. So there's like a success rate for casting it. So it might take a couple tries to get it to proc, but when it's on, it's on. Staggering Shout is a massive area effect stun. Super useful in PvP and PvE, but mainly for PvP. So here's Inferno's skills. The double slash is really interesting. When you use the skill, it literally is 2 hits at once, so it's like a double damage skill. So it actually is pretty cool. Not sure how many people realize that, but if you look at the math on it, it's like if you casted something else, like bleeding or something, and if the damage was the same, or you did, I'm not sure, I only have too many variables here to show, but because I don't think you can use any of these skills when you're transformed. I'm trying to remember. I think you can't. Anyway, This one essentially is a double strike for sure. You're doubling your damage with this, so it's pretty useful, especially with the 3-second cooldown. Swift Arm increases your auto attack speed. Mixed feelings about that. If you want to try an AA build druid, you could, you know, it's viable. This one is like long range damage that's inflicted from, I think, short range. Its range is 4 meters, so, but it does long range damage specifically. It was intended, this originally was on the Avenger, and for some reason it's on the druid now, so there's that. It is actually a pretty good AoE though. It does like 9 targets, I think, in the end, so pretty good. 30-second cooldown though, so you have to consider that. Bleeding, I don't know how good this one is later on, but it definitely has good, you know, if you want to put somebody in a state of bleeding for a while, it put a dot on them, it's pretty useful for that. This one also has 2 stuns. You have the heavy blow, which is a single target stun. I think that one's 5 seconds too. And then I think this one's 3. I'm not 100% sure on the durations of these. I haven't gotten to max, so I don't know. So this is a stun. It's an AoE stun, and I believe you have to target somebody, but he spins all around you, and then he stuns those max number of targets, which is, I think it gets up to like 8 or something. I'm not 100% on that either, so don't quote me on the number of targets. And then this one's a single target as well. So you got 3 stuns here alone. 1, 2, 3. This one's massive. I think it gets up to like 6 seconds or 5 seconds. It's good for sure. So 1, 2, 3. And then you have a stun here. So 4 stuns, super massive. The Druid can stun the hell out of everybody. So that's why they're so dangerous in PvP. Not to mention they have dashes. They have their high mobility. So they get in, they stun, they get away, and let the team kill if they want to, or kill themselves, kill for themselves because they're fast. Elementalist, last one here. Wow, I've been on this for over an hour. Okay. Hydrophobia, this one, water damage, hydro, water. Aerophobia, or aerophobia, air. So this is wind damage. Pyrophobia, fire, fire. Electrophobia, electricity, obviously. So you have, these are all resistance downs, and they're massive support for like raids, single target PvP as well, and whoever your enemy is, if you're PvE single targeting. But these will drop 50% resistance, so it's massive. You can see how the Elementalist is going to gobble up skill points really quick if you want to build out and try to get all of these or something. You really have to prioritize. Invisible Arrow is a stun, a really useful stun. It's a long-range stun, up to 30 meters. Snow Blast, a really good single-target DPS. Spreading Chill is also a really good single-target DPS. This one I think might be used less so, maybe like a one-pointer, because, you know, some people really like putting that water down on people. Hydrophobia is less useful because people's water resistance, I mean, late game resistance is outrageous for the most part anyway. You'll probably never take anybody out of it. Depends, situationally you can, but you can get really high resistance late game for sure, where these things won't get people out of it. So I don't know how useful this is anymore. People doing the water downs. 69 PvP, people loved these things for sure. Spreading Chill, wind resistance. So what I was going to say about water resistance is a lot of the skills and stuff, the enchantments that you use in late game increase your water resistance. So like everybody's got a lot of water resistance later on, and fire too, honestly. But the aerophobia, this one's probably a good option if you're doing PvP as well, because then you can, people have less wind resistance potentially, because they're not going to be enchanting with stuff that gives wind resistance like they would with water and fire. But these are also, this is AoE, I think. Which one was AoE? This one? This one. So I think this one's pretty good for PvP as well. I'm sorry, PvE and PvP. Obviously anything that's AoE is good in like almost all situations. Pyrophobia, this one's good, supports your mystics, you know, you can't go wrong with that. You can pretty much bring most raid bosses down to 0 resistance, which is why mystics are so hardcore. Couple it with the Forsakers, fire down, which is going to be 25% fire down. You can get like over 100% resistance decrease. I think it's like 102 or something if you really built it like as strong a debuff as possible for fire. So fire can get the biggest debuff, I think, of anybody. I think technically it could probably be higher than that too. If you had maybe like a dominator debuffing with intelligence down, since intelligence governs in resistance too. I don't know, haven't tested it, but in a raid specifically. Electrophobia. Again, all these can get 50% reduction to resistance. AoE. So I think this one and this one are pretty desired for skills. I'm not sure about this one. Attack an enemy by enchanting a weapon by enchanting magic weapon. Have a chance of generating magic reflection shield. I don't know. I can't speak to this, so maybe someone else can answer that question about that's efficacy. Holy Bliss. This is a party HP buff. Not as good, if I remember correctly. Not as good as the Warlord, but it's very close. So they're pretty much they're neck and neck. Clairvoyance, this is intended for PvP. To clarify, this is about 2,000 HP that it gets to, I think, with DNA. Clairvoyance is intended to pick up assassins, to see assassins in battlefields. Same with like, I'm gonna go back real fast. Hunter. Same with like detecting trap. I think this also can find, well, I guess that's just for traps. I don't think it works for them. Stealth detection, they have that as well. So the ranger has that as well for finding assassins in the battlefield. So that's what clairvoyance does. Bliss of Fairy, it's a pretty small magic increase, but it's I think it's like 40 or 50 magic, and it's single target, but you can buff your allies with this, increase their magic damage if you really want to be tedious. It's very small buff though, so don't expect much from this. The Fairy King's protection, I'm not sure if there's more to this or not, or if it's just a resistance buff. I think you can target your friendlies with this too. It's pretty small, 1%, so 10%. I can't recommend these personally, but maybe someone else can. This is, you need 1 point in it, but that's super tiny for skill critical additional damage, which is better, I guess, than magic damage. I didn't realize it was skill. Oh, it's skill additional. I'm reading into it. Never mind. It's not saying skill critical additional, just skill additional damage. So I guess that's its way of saying magic damage. High concentration. This one is, I thought this one would increase skill crit rate. Raise magic strength via concentration for a set duration. I could have sworn this, well, it does say right there, skill hit rate 3%. So this does increase your skill critical chance, and I believe you cannot target friendlies with it. Yeah, it says, I think it's self only. I don't think I've ever seen this on another player, so could be useful situationally. I'd say pretend you're up against a dominator in PvP, you might want that, because then you have a huge decrease to your skill crit rate from them. That might be useful in that situation. Aside from that, like a PvE player probably won't really need this, because you're probably going to be 100% from other ways. And the last skill, Mind Enhancement. Mind Enhancement is pretty useful. It increases heals, obviously, for your party, so it's helpful for all your heal support classes, so can't really say anything negative about this. Mind also increases your crit rate, so that's good. Yeah, let's go ahead and end this. I'm gonna close this and we'll try. I'll leave the stream open, obviously, but I'm gonna relaunch the games. So let's get this party going here. I gotta timestamp this, man. That's so terrible how long this went on for. I got 35 minutes before I gotta drop. Let's see how much I can get through. Otherwise, I might try this again. Do a take 2. Okay, launch, Steam. I gotta get sound on after I get the character made. It's quite amazing when you think about, like, when you have in your mind, conceptually, you want to make something as concise and short as possible. Oh, I just can't seem to make that happen. But again, if I would have scripted this out, it could have gone a little better. In theory. I was also trying to use a lower resolution to try to make this thing more filled out when you're on your phone. A lot of people are going to be on like mobile devices watching this, so I was trying to cater to that aspect too. Okay. Let's go with, so I said earlier, a very long time ago, I'm going to go with the Kruxena. I'm going to go with the SoulHunter. I like looking at the ladies. Even if they have a freaking weird horse, freaking camel toe going on down here. Zoom in on this a little bit. Yeah, let's go with that. Looks good. I'll be a SoulHunter here. Let's go with Melindra. That feels like a name that would fit a dark elf. All right. Something easy to remember. Okay, I don't have sound on, so I'm going to skip this. Actually, I think it will still play the sound. Let's go ahead and just launch it then. I don't know, for new players, probably don't care. Let's just skip it. So people know, during this cutscene, if you want to skip it, just press escape.
What?
What? Goodbye. Yeah, that sound always plays even with audio off. Okay, game settings, sound on. Let's fix this. I think I balanced my sound to be at max last time. Really do like the sound music in this game. Alright. Tutorial, we'll do it because I want people to see this method that I have show. Oh, of course, am I crashing? Oh god. The house going down. I hope this audio is balanced. This is originally what I wanted to test for to make sure it's coming through. I have it pretty low, so I'm hoping this is alright. Somebody in the chat, if you're watching this still, you're welcome to let me know what you think of this. If it sounds like shit, just tell me I'll adjust it. I'm spending my time futzing around. I don't want to do it. Let's see if I can fix this too. I'll put this. See if I can find it. Just leave it over there. Something too important. So I guess for right now, I'm going to get a read potential. So let's put it in there. Yeah, so that's fine. West. Just going to go ahead and follow along on this stuff. Pressing U, or you can go with the message tab here, tutorial, hit the button, check mark it, and it progresses you to the next step. I don't want to exit. Kill it, so it's telling us we gotta go kill. Start out nice and slow. Sure is a slow start. Holy crap. Painful. There we go. There's one. Alright. Okay. If you pick up any loot in here, by the way, then it stays in the bag. You can't delete it until you're out of here, so I'm not really care for any of this stuff. I'm not going to pick it up. So I'm going to pick up other stuff. I have a little strategy to show you. I'm going to come over here, complete the quest. When you're doing the tutorial, I recommend it because these weapons, the level 5 versions, you can't get outside of this quest right here. There are other level 5 weapons and shields I'll show you too, but these particular ones that are like int and strength and stuff like that, these are better in here, so these, you can get the level a lot faster. Skip all this. Okay, it's telling us we gotta press K or open up the skills over here and pick your first skill. I will actually take this. And if you're ever looking at my weird alignment of skills down here, I have a lot of weird stuff going on tonight, so that'll be why. Let's turn that stuff over to. Okay, next bags, and hit B to open it. Push the button over here, or you can push the number keys and open individual bags on the number pad. Let's see what else is useful here. I guess it's telling us to move on. I think it probably will because these guys are pretty weak. And then music when it stops is all done. Upgrade this real quick. This is going to go nice and fast. Am I? Okay. It's like, this is taking a long time to load. I'm just not looking where I need to look. Okay. Drag and drop the item. So this is the reinforcement system. Drop it in the first slot. You can auto-register, and the Xeons will just move into the right spot. We always have a 42% forge going. The game's in maintenance mode, so there's an event going on, which I'll show you those drops as well, because they drop in here too. And there's increased drop rates. It does make some aspects of the game easier. Okay. Can't use that yet. You run a better. Okay, and then we're gonna head north. So this is pretty much saying, you're done, go ahead and leave, but that's not my intention. So you can see my MP, how much that literally sucks right now as I'm trying to fight stuff. I'm gonna show you how to make that a whole lot easier, which new players might not know how to make their life a lot easier. The reason I'm checking these drops is, well, Xeons are helpful, but the other part too is I want to, I want to get these events right here. So the red rose, we're going to use this to make a flying bike in a little while. I'll show you how to do that. You need a couple other components. Just make sure I can see my chat, because that's it's hidden from me right now. There we go. Figured that, I guess the benefit of doing what I did for as long as I did gives people time to get in here and kind of get situated potentially, or get bored and move on. That happens too. Okay, level 5, we can use this. It's insignificant increase, but it is an increase nonetheless. Okay, so I'll smack this guy. We're leveling up fast enough, which is nice to counterbalance what I'm trying to do. So level 6, I think I'll probably do a... I might, this is probably my last guy, and then I'm going to switch over. Okay, so I'm going to show you another concept, which is another leveling system. I do Control C to open my character screen, but normally it's just C. I'm sorry, not Control, Shift Control is how I open it, because I like having C for something else. So we go to, this is the character information, you go to Sociability, and then there's this system right here, the Honor Grade, the Alternative Advancement System. By default, it'll be orange. That means when you're killing stuff, you're getting XP. Click it, make it green, and then when you kill somebody, you're gonna get... oh yeah, before I do, I'll show it. These are the skills that are in here. I'll show you how quick it can level up too. That was one of the reasons why I wanted to have a brand new account. Everything new. Shows everybody right from the start how it goes. Offense, defense, stats, etc. Obviously you can read. So physical defense stuff, or sorry, physical offense, so like physical damage, physical skill crit, physical skill critical additional damage, accuracy. So I mean, we're not going to care much about this. This is the magic side. The property attack damage is like saying magic attack. Property, you'd think it would be like elemental damage, which is under here. This is your elemental damage where it's documented. It doesn't actually put it here, so that's another reason why it's confusing, because it actually goes in here where your magic attack power is. So another one of the kooky errors that come with Requiem. So I'm going to show you what skills you're going to want to use, and those are really helpful because you can reset them and change them anytime you want. So instead of getting XP, now I got honor. My XP bar did not move, but I did get 8 honor points just from 1 kill in here. So you can see how fast this is going to go. That was just 2 kills. Now we're at 13. Come in here, put some points in this. We're not high enough yet to get much, so every 10 levels is like getting 1 level. So if I was at 50, I could put 5 points in these. I think that makes sense for everybody, but let me know if I need to re-explain stuff. I got enough points to kind of map this out. For this class, you're going to want to have the property attack damage, you're going to want to have skill crit chance, skill critical additional damage. Short range defense, you're not going to encounter much long range, so I avoid it for now. Evasion, that's helpful. Under defense. This stuff's all not necessary. Resistance, you're not going to encounter enough magic stuff to matter. Block rate, you're not going to care about most of this yet. So next thing is stats. You're going to want to have con. Strength points are going to be for if you're physical damage. Dex is going to be for if you're long range damage. Con, obviously HP. Int for magic damage. And mind is for heals mainly, but it also does help with other aspects like your skill critical chance. Dexterity helps your physical crit chance. Mind helps your skill crit chance. It also gives you MP and MP recovery, so when I press save, you'll see that there'll be a little bump here in MP. That's actually a decent bump. And I didn't even add this yet, so this is 20 MP right out the gate, 20 MP HP with 1 point there. There's also this one here for HP MP recovery, and the first point's 15. It's massive. It's like, watch, you get to just see how much faster this goes when you learn this. Might as well increase my XP. What else is relevant? Drops, that's a waste of points. We're not going to worry about that right now. We'll do all stats. Increase 1 point to all stats, sure. Okay. This is kind of the map I would recommend. You can hit initialize and save, and these things reset for free at no fee to you, and you can reapply them however you want. So you can change them at a whim. You can try stuff out as much as you want. We're going to close this, get back to it. And you can see these guys respawn super quick. So you'll see my strategy here in a moment. This is helpful. I'll explain these later. So take this if you get ammo. Being I'm level 6, this should help me a bit. Staying low level in here should help me get like decent drops. I actually need this stuff. It's weird to need it. And I'll get to the point where I can pretty much one-hit people in here. It's just right now my MP is so small, I don't want to overextend myself. Not enough MP. Alright, just beat it then. There we go. Okay. So you can press X to sit down, and this will increase your recovery rate faster than if you're standing. So there's stages to recovery. HP and MP are practically the same as far as recovery rates are concerned. In combat, your HP will not recover, so if you're getting hit, and you're fighting, you have, if you press Z, it'll put you into a fighting stance, like this. And then when you're like this, you're at a decreased MP recovery. I think 30% of your MP is 30% of your MP recovery is in effect. So there's like a separate stat system for this. It gets a little bit complicated, but as you saw from earlier when I was showing the honor skills, there's 15 MP recovery. You gain a little bit of MP recovery from the stat mind. Your equipment will also give MP recovery. It doesn't track it anywhere, so I can't tell you to go look somewhere to see how much MP recovery you have, because it's not documented. But it's calculatable, kind of. 30% of it will be active in combat, so your total amount, 30% of it will be working and recover your MP. And then when you're standing here like this, I think it's 50%, something like that. And then when you're seated, it's at 100%, so all of it's working, so it'll go a lot faster. So let's get back into fighting here. Let's take a look. I didn't actually look to see how many points I had. Let's see what that is. 27. So now I should be able to get another point in these. Dun-da-da. Let's level it all up again. Save. Yes. Close it. Okay. See a little bit of an increase again. Look at the damage went from 35 to 40. So there's a little bit of a damage increase. 3 points, 3 magic damage from each of those skills, from the magic points I was using for honor. The reason I suggest being in here is it doesn't seem like it's that much XP, but you kill them fast enough that your limiting factor is your MP. So you can actually stay in here and probably till like, what's it gonna smack? Like 9 or 10, I would say. Because it'll also make it so it's less grindy when you come out and you have to go and complete the missions to do Temperian's Way. Sometimes you'll have to grind the mobs out there anyway, so it's like, why not just do it in here? And then you're also getting some components you need. You're leveling your honor, which is the main reason I suggest being in here. Assuming again that you're a brand new character. If you're not brand new, it's kind of irrelevant. I mean, maybe it's actually more relevant because it'll go even faster. Because then you can just put your points immediately. So, again, since I explained this to new players, the honor system, those honor points, are saved for the entire account. So if you save them and earn them on a character, you delete that character, it's still saved on the account. They're not lost. You can just apply it to a new character. You don't have to like reset anything. That's kind of nice. Take that. You don't have to reset anything to be able to utilize those points. They're all independently available across all accounts, which is really helpful. See, let's do a quick difference. So you can see when I'm standing up. See how much I'm gaining right there from my MP. So it should, in theory, go right here. So and then we sit. Look how much further it goes. And the same is true for MP, except, I'm sorry, HP. The same is true for HP, except it just only difference is it doesn't recover in combat. So the key is when you're not fighting is to sit down, pressing X. Fighting, as soon as you put your weapon away, you sit X. There you go. And you're good to go. Let's see, where are we at? 40 points. I mean, it goes pretty quick. I mean, I could be faster. I'm kind of explaining stuff. The MP is starting to recover a little bit quicker. I could probably do a couple of these at a time now. If I did another point, I could probably let the dot finish these guys off. I just don't know if I want to do more than 1 point in my skill. So I think for now, I'm just going to leave it at 1. Love ring. Look how much money that's worth. When you're first starting out, you might feel tempted to sell those. And, you know, maybe you will sell a few of them, but you definitely want to keep the first one you get, and I'll show you why. This right here, the dark chocolates and white chocolates you get, this is 10% HP recovery. So your max, whatever your MP is or your HP when you consume this, it's like a potion. It'll give you 10% of your overall total HP or MP depending on which one you're eating. So it's, and there's no cooldown on it, there's no limit, you can just eat them until you're full. They're mostly intended for later on. Like, potions are going to do way more for you. I don't recommend using them early game. If you can avoid it, you should definitely save them if you can. Oops, didn't mean to pick up garbage. I was hoping I could find more ion energy so I can explain that concept next. For time, 15 minutes. Okay, I'm going to try to get through some more stuff. Let's see if I can do that. Another helpful piece of information to know with inventory. Sometimes you want stuff, you want to move them around, you can hold shift, and you can drag and drop it somewhere, and it'll give you a calculator so you can split it up or condense it. Sometimes you might have too much of something and that won't go together, and you're like, why can't it just finalize out? Most things go to 1,000 when they stack, so sometimes you might have to do the math and calculate how much is needed to get it to 1,000 or whatever. So bear that in mind as well with inventory management. I think, oh, here we go. Nice. This is what I needed. I'll probably call it now that I got what I needed. So, you can make a flying mount with either one of these as step 1, which I'll explain in a little bit, and then you use, I think, rings next, and then use a bouquet. But let's see where I'm at for honor. This is going to go faster now. I should have probably used this a little earlier. Definitely want that. Oh, good, save, yes. Okay. 47. I don't think I sat down, I should have done that. Oh, he's dead. Okay. I like how he posed in the little T shape. Ding! I'm dead. Okay. Let's kill a couple more. A little faster. Let's round up a few more of them. He's moving, staying up there a bit. See, I'm not getting myself in a shitty situation and getting stuck without MP yet. Obviously I can overextend still, but he's significantly improved. And this is again with no gear. I haven't done anything other than just stayed in the tutorial room. And you start cleaning this room up. You get a lot of drops. You start rounding up your rings or whatever it is you're looking for, whatever's important. Oops, didn't mean to grab that. That's useful. Oh yeah, I should have probably pointed that out. So, those bound items, you have to double click those. You can't obtain them without having like a pet. There's an action required, and essentially it's like, are you sure you want to put this in your inventory? It's bound to you, you can't trade it. No one else around you can have it. You can't go and... So, you click on this, you have to click twice. Item is bound, and trade is not allowed, so you confirm that you want it in your bag. You can still get rid of it, but it's useful. You really don't want to get rid of these. There's another purpose I'll explain. Probably another stream. And based on the fact that this is Thursday, my next available day to be able to stream is probably Tuesday. It's going to be a while before I get back to this. But I still got 10 minutes. Where are we at here? For almost 50. Okay, let's go a little bit higher. I think 50 is probably a good starting point. I would, ideally, if I wasn't like... If I was doing this without worrying about other people and trying to be informative and get more information out there, I would stay in here probably till like I had 100 honor points. I'd probably make it to like level 9 or 10. I'll probably change over and do 9 or 10, we'll see. And you can see it starts going quick, just watch. Well, you can't see my XP bar moving because have that disabled, so I'm gaining honor right now. But you can see I'm cutting dudes down with pretty much just one hit each. The dot is now taking care of them on this particular job. I hit that guy too soon. But it does a double hit, so it's like 18 damage. And then I think it does it one more. Oops. It does kind of depend on the damage I deal too, I think. They just wait, and then they die. So it's pretty satisfying. Getting lots of roses too. You gotta think that I'm level 6, and these guys are level 2, and I'm getting lots of really good gear right out the gate. It would be nice to get this, I mean, these, so I will collect a little bit of this loot here in a moment, because there's a reduction function that is important to do too. I was hoping I could get one more ring, because that would make life a lot easier as a new player. The other part I was really hoping for, oops, I hit Y. The other thing I was really hoping for was, so the ring would be good for Lant, because they sell for 1 million. But I was also hoping to get more ion energy, because there's something I wanted to do, but I don't think I'm going to be able to do that. I don't think I'm getting enough to show that system yet. There'll be an opportunity for it. Well, I mean, it's slowing down a bit, as you can see, obviously, but it's not too terrible. I think 50 might be a fair number to stop at here, just for the sake of making a video. You bastards, give me a ring. Just want a ring. You gave me one earlier. One more ring, and I'll be pleased. Alright, let's check and see. Yeah, 5 points is good. Let's do that. I think this is a good starting point. Yeah. Save. Good. Close this. And then let's turn this back to orange so I'm earning XP. And then you can just watch how quickly I can climb my XP and level in here. See the icon on that being targeting ring. It's funny. I mean, it's a significant difference in MP management for sure. I mean, in a way, it really is game breaking because it takes all the challenge out, but it's like, I don't want new players to not know how to make their life 1 trillion times easier. No reason to suffer. If it exists, it exists, so you should know it. Probably shouldn't even care about this lamp. All I want is a ring. Alright. This is not gonna happen. I must have been really lucky to get that one ring. I mean, I'm getting tons of roses, so I'm gonna level up. Level up brings a little bit of stats, a little more damage. And you can see I hit these guys one time, they're all dropping dead with that little dot. If you're a warlord in here, you'd be doing like 100 damage per hit, so these guys would all be smacked and dead, so there's a lot of buffs, like a buff that you can get right away, like, you know, I think I was showing you all the skills, so you saw Warrior has a dual swords or two-handed sword increase to damage that's like super massive, so you'd be doing like 35, 39 extra damage, I think at level 1? It's level 2? Like super quick. It must be level 2. Come on, man. Someone's gotta have a ring in this pile. Lots of roses. This is really... So later on, these event drops will subside when you get to the north and south hammering maps, which is level 50 through level 60. So if you can stock up on those roses and be prepared for that kind of dry spell, it helps. You definitely want to stock up on what you can while you can. I'll take that. Oop, 5. Come on, that's pathetic. Man, nobody wants to give me a ring, huh? Did I say something? Did I hurt someone's feelings in here? You gotta think too, if this is like your second or third character and you're in here, you're just applying, you're just leveling, you don't even need to do honor. You're just leveling in here and applying your points as you go. And you're just gonna keep cutting them down. So you could probably get through this dungeon, level up to level 9 in, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes if you were just killing stuff. I think that seems fair. And then you just go out, do the quests. You don't have to worry about like a level gap or anywhere. You have to like kill stuff to level. I think. I'm not gonna say you shouldn't. You won't have any issues along the way. I have to try it out 100% to know. But it's definitely a good start. I've decided since I only have a little bit of time, I'm going to probably just finish off my stream in here, and then I'll log out so I can pick up right where I left off. And then I can show the other aspects. And I can always make edited videos and put stuff together. I definitely spent far longer explaining the jobs than I intended. I know Kirilu, when he's doing this kind of stuff, does the same thing. You know, there's so much to explain, and then it's hard to like stay focused on one thing, because you open a door, it opens another door. It gets a bit cumbersome. So, 8. This would be a safe spot, I think, to walk out. But like I said, I'm going to finish the stream here. I'm not going to be on much longer. Like 2 minutes, I got to take off. Just hoping I can find a ring. You frickin' jerks. Can't you just drop a love ring? Do you not love me? I feel so hated. I definitely love giving up the flowers in here. Maybe if I would have stayed at a lower level, it would have helped. I don't know. Okay. Ooh, that's a nice one. That's okay. You don't have to even sit anymore. The whole concept is pretty much lost. Just running and killing. My MP recovers just fine when I'm looking through the boxes trying to find a ring. Kind of killing it faster than I can. Faster than I should, because they have that little window of invincibility. Still not even close to 1,000. I still can't make what I want to make with the fluid, making the fluid ornament. That's what the ion energy is intended for. It's making an ornament. We'll get into equipment and stuff in the next stream, Tuesday. But I want to try to get this character at least to level 60, maybe more, we'll see, it just kind of depends. And I want to play it without using my other characters to support myself. I want to actually show, like, alright, this is what you can do without any stuff given to you, without going free mode and having an alt support you or something, or a friend. Just knowing the game yourself and what you can do with it. That's the intention. We'll see how that goes. Alright. I think I'm going to have to call it here, though. My time's coming up to an end, and I'm not seeing my ring. So I won't be using that ring for Lant, and hopefully I'll find one in the next stream. Because that will make life so much easier. And then we'll get more bags and all that good stuff. Alright guys, we'll do this again soon. Alright, see you next time.